Steve Hartman this morning has a story that gives new meaning to the expression, in the long run.
No one wants to feel like old news, like their glory days are gone. But Ernie Andrus says that's exactly how he felt in the months after his celebrated, record-breaking run. Back in 2016, then 93-year-old Ernie Andrus became the oldest person ever to run across America.
You got this, you got this!
From San Diego, California, all the way to St. Simon's Island, Georgia. A huge crowd joined him at the end as this World War II sailor stormed the beach one last time to fervent chants and flying colors. It was pure joy. That all happened about 2.5 years ago. Today, Ernie still runs for exercise and still dreams of the glory.
I was running 3 days a week, but it's the same old thing. And I just got a little bored.
He recently got so restless, he decided to do something remarkable. And I don't use that word lightly. If he pulls this off, this would be truly remarkable. Yesterday, at the age of 95, Ernie returned to the Georgia beach where his run ended to start a new run back across the country again.
We ask you to bless Ernie this day as he begins this journey in earnest.
His last trip took 3 years, but now his run is more like a mosey. So Ernie expects this one to take a bit longer. He hopes to reach San Diego sometime after his 100th birthday. The man is nothing if not an optimist.
I've got all the runs planned clear up to 2025.
So you plan to get there one way or the other? Wheelchair, gurney, whatever it takes.
It's just not in a coffin now.
Just like last time, Ernie is dedicating his run to the LST. That's a kind of ship, the same kind of ship Ernie served on in the war. There's one left, and it's open for tours in Evansville, Indiana. He's running to raise money and awareness.
This shouldn't be forgotten. A ship is like a person too, you know, we call it the Gray Lady.
Sounds like you're in love with this lady.
Oh yeah, it's part of my soul.
Honoring his naval past by plodding toward the Pacific. And in his wake, Ernie Andrus leaves behind all the proof you'll ever need that there's no fun in fading into the sunset. At least, not when you can run into it.
A century after a legendary British explorer made his name in Antarctica, a modern-day admirer decided to follow in his footsteps. His story from Anthony Mason.
It may be the most desolate and forbidding landscape on the planet. Before he tried to cross Antarctica alone in 2015, British explorer Henry Worsley got some advice.
Don't ever think you're going to conquer the pole. If you're really lucky, the Antarctic will allow you in for a snapshot, but don't ever think you're going to beat it.
Trekking the vast frozen continent, Worsley would say, was like being an atom on an ice cube.
This is as big as Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Journalist David Grand chronicles Worsley's expedition in his new book, The White Darkness.
He arrived by the Weddell Sea, which is part of the Atlantic Ocean, and then he trekked 570 nautical miles to the South Pole.
Worsley's inspiration,
some of the old Arctic explorers are here,
was another British adventurer, honored on the walls of the Explorers Club in New York.
And this is Shackleton, who obviously Henry Worsley revered so much.
Sir Ernest Shackleton led 3 expeditions to Antarctica in the early 1900s. Worsley, a descendant of one of Shackleton's crew, became obsessed with his adventures.
I really believe very strongly in marriage not stopping individual dreams.
Henry's wife, Joanna Worsley, and their children, Max and Alicia, would write messages on his skis before his trips.
Max encouraged him, as you can see.
Push it, fat ass.
Push it, fat ass. That was mine. Come back to me safely, my darling. I didn't worry about him ever.
Why not?
He was just invincible, Henry.
A retired officer of the elite British commando unit, the SAS, Worsley made his first trip to the Antarctic in 2008 as part of a three-man team reenacting Shackleton's journey to the South Pole.
His face said it all. You don't often see someone quite that happy.
He wasn't expecting to go back.
I was expecting him to go back.
Why?
The Antarctic seems to grip people. It seems to grip and not let go. It had got him.
Mm-hmm.
In 2015, Worsley planned a trip no one had ever attempted, crossing 1,000 miles of Antarctica solo and unsupported.
Good evening. So, on the way at last.
On November 13th, 2015, in a satellite phone message, the 55-year-old explorer announced he was off, hauling a 325-pound sled of food and supplies.
Almost from the beginning, he runs into problems.
Everything seemed to go wrong. He found himself in one whiteout after another. He was pinned down in his tent.
But Worsley pressed on, and after 51 days, 656 miles, reached the South Pole. He sent this postcard home from the U.S. research station there.
I will never forget what I owe you. Onwards.
Onwards.
But in satellite calls, Joanna began to sense something was wrong.
He cried quite a lot. He'd never done that.
She urged him to call to be airlifted out.
He just said, I know I'm not going to make it. I will call them, but please let me make that call.
On day 70, just 30 miles shy of making history, he finally did. Flown to a medical station, he called Joanna to report he was safe and having a cup of tea.
Was that the last time you talked to him?
It was, yes.
Doctors soon realized Worsley had bacterial peritonitis,
which is essentially an infection of the inner lining wall and the tissue of the abdomen. He went into septic shock, and all his organs began to fail.
2 days later, Henry Worsley died in surgery. He was posthumously awarded Britain's Polar Medal, also given to his hero, Shackleton. His expedition flag was brought home to Joanna,
which is all very tattered now,
who in time went to the cold land that had claimed her husband.
I didn't learn what he loved, Anthony, I didn't.
But you needed to be there.
But I needed to be there.
In her grief, Joanna Worsley had doubted her husband's love.
I was worried that he loved the Antarctic more. You stay in a black fog of grief for a year, and when I came a little bit out of that black fog, I knew that I didn't believe that.
And you knew that how?
Because if he had loved the Antarctic more than us, he would never have made the call. There's a lovely photograph where he has written in the snow, I am the Antarctic. And I only ever saw that after he died. It took my breath away, and I thought, gosh, yes, he is the Antarctic. He is the Antarctic.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal.
Remember this?
Of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Eagle is at Tranquility, over.
It was a time when dreams about spaceflight came true.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And it was a giant leap for mankind. But since then, it seems like we've taken a step back.
The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time.
And in 2011, when the space shuttle stopped flying,
Atlantis glided into history today.
A lot of people kind of forgot about NASA.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour, 5 minutes into today's spacewalk.
But NASA's still here. And 5 days from now, it will launch one of its most ambitious missions yet, sending 51-year-old astronaut Scott Kelly to the International Space Station for 12 months. That's twice as long as his last trip to space in 2010.
Hi, my name is Scott Kelly, and I'm an astronaut.
And a new record for an American astronaut.
Last time I felt like I was kind of taking a long business trip. This time it's more like I feel like I'm just moving and I'm not coming back.
Without the space shuttle, Kelly has only one way to get into space, aboard this Russian spacecraft called the Soyuz. He'll take off from the world's oldest space launch facility, the Baikonur Cosmodrome in southern Kazakhstan.
I'll be in here with 2 cosmonauts.
He'll be traveling with Russians Mikhail Kornienko and Gennady Padalka. And in case you're wondering, Kelly says political tensions between the countries are left on Earth as the men embark on a cramped 6-hour journey to the space station.
It's no minivan in there, I'll tell you that.
It's not very big.
Kelly showed us a replica of the spacecraft at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston.
I'll be playing the role of commander at this
Yeah,
performance.
you are the Soyuz commander.
I gotta ask you, it doesn't look like cutting-edge technology. It looks like 60s technology.
Some of it is. The good news is it works, most of the time. They've had a couple accidents, but, so did we on the space shuttle. Risky, but, flying in space is risky.
If Scott Kelly looks familiar, well, it might be because he has a famous twin brother, Mark Kelly. Mark is a retired astronaut himself and husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I wish I was blasted off in a rocket in a couple months.
He won't be on the space station, but Mark is part of the mission as an identical control subject on the ground. By comparing the twins' biology over the year, scientists hope to learn more about what happens to you after a long time in space, like bone loss and muscle loss, important groundwork for an eventual mission to Mars. But physical changes are only part of the story. There's also the mental challenge of living in a 6-room box in space for a year. What would happen if you started getting signs that he's starting to crack?
Well, we don't expect to see signs that he's starting to crack. First of all, we've done a selection due diligence.
Al Holland is a NASA psychologist. His team will be in constant contact with Kelly.
So people that are coming in, we already have a certain amount of confidence that in a prior life they have done things that are stressful. They've endured deployments or they've endured other long separations effectively.
Scott Kelly certainly has endured stress in space before. For example, during his 6-month stay on the space station.
It was a Saturday, January 8th, 2011. We got a call, for me, the chief of the astronaut office wants to talk to you on a private space-to-ground channel in 5 minutes. And she said, I don't know how to tell you this, so I'm just going to tell you your sister-in-law was shot in the head at a public event in Tucson, Arizona, and we don't have much other information.
Eventually, Gabby recovered, and Scott got to see her 2 months later at home. But very soon, home will once again be the space station.
Sleeping is done on the wall here in a sleeping bag.
That's your bedroom right there,
That's the bedroom.
Lavish.
Yeah. You'll have a couple computers in there, some personal items. Actually, in space, it's quite comfortable.
At the Johnson Space Center, NASA has also built a mock-up of the space station, which they use for training.
On behalf of science classes all over America, I have to ask you about going to the bathroom. How do you go to the bathroom?
Very carefully.
You'll be here till Thursday, folks. Oh, there she is.
That's it. That's what everyone always wants to see.
Our tax dollars at work.
It uses air suction. It's got this, this funnel, and you turn it on, and vacuum comes up, and you do your thing.
And talk about advanced technology. When you're finished, a special distiller recycles your urine back into drinking water.
For the other thing.
I haven't seen any laundry facilities.
We don't have any, nor do we have a shower, so we throw away the clothes and we take a little sponge bath.
You throw away the clothes?
Here's the kind of space clothing he won't be throwing away. Spacesuits for spacewalks.
My safety tether config. Good.
We have a long safety tether that is always connected.
Enjoy your last walk.
So you don't jet around like George Clooney.
Referring to George Clooney and gravity, I don't think we do anything like George Clooney did.
Mind if I join the fun?
Including the sense of humor. You've fallen off the space station, that's a bad day.
On a good day in space, you follow a routine. You work out, and you eat.
So cubes and tubes. This is the original space food, Mercury and Gemini. So basically what they had was baby food in a tube that they squeezed in their mouth.
Oh, man.
And then they had a lot of different varieties of dried cubes.
Space station cuisine today looks more like a TV dinner.
One of our most popular items has been our shrimp cocktail.
According to food manager Vicki Claris, the astronauts eat entrees like spaghetti and meat sauce,
Like Mom used to make.
Yeah.
sweet and sour chicken,
Right, the flavor is there. It's just the texture is a little off.
This is crawfish etouffee.
Cool.
and even the occasional Cajun specialty.
It's not gourmet, but considering everything, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
This is beef tips with mushrooms.
Claris's team has developed a menu of 200 space foods. Before each launch, the astronauts get to choose their favorites. From his food, to his fitness, to his health, every detail of Kelly's life in space is managed by his team on Earth. But the most important person on the ground might be his longtime girlfriend, Amiko Cowderer.
He calls me a slow cooker.
Well, he's used to opening a pouch.
Who works in NASA's Public Affairs Office. These two are about to give new meaning to the term long-distance relationship.
Most of my concerns with this flight and being gone for a year is the stuff that can happen to people on Earth while I'm gone.
Kelly, who has 2 daughters from a previous marriage, will be able to call his family by phone whenever he wants. They can have video chats with him once a week.
I can't imagine that it would be easy for any woman.
It's not easy at all. But I think we're both of the mindset of we kind of really appreciate challenge and things that are hard because we also know at the end of it that you can kind of go, yeah, we did that.
And the homecoming's really good after a year.
A year in space to prepare for a mission to Mars. For NASA, those are giant leaps indeed.
These are images from Juneau, Alaska, where this past week flooding from an overflowing glacial lake prompted evacuations. Disappearing glaciers are, of course, a worrisome global trend. Ben Tracy with Climate Central introduces us to a man who's made glacier mapping a family affair.
But it is stunningly beautiful out here.
This 2 miles we've done so far today, I mean, that was fun.
I'm not complaining. I'm happy to take a walk on a glacier any day.
In the rugged North Cascade Mountains of Washington State,
my life has been shaped by this ice.
No one likely knows this glacier better than Maury Pelto.
We got 6,000 measurements on this glacier.
You have 6,000 measurements on this one glacier?
Yeah, at least.
Wow.
For more than 40 years, Pelto, a glaciologist, has returned to this remote wilderness. The crunch of footsteps in the snow now rivaled by the sounds of melting ice.
It's always melting off, the crevasses are changing. We can hear the water flowing under our feet.
Yeah, I mean, just standing here, you can hear it just running under our feet.
Pelto founded the North Cascades Glacier Climate Project in 1984 as a grad student. He vowed to measure these glaciers every summer for 50 years.
So how deep is that?
This is 9.5 feet. So now we just do this over and over again all day long.
This is year 42.
How old were you when you decided to do 50 years of this?
I was 22.
22. How old are you now?
63.
In that time, the glaciers have changed more than he has, shrinking by 40%. Some have disappeared. Pelto's work has been featured by NASA and fed into a worldwide glacier database.
So of the 47 that you have studied and returned to over and over again, how many are gone?
12 of them.
12?
Yeah, and 9 of them just in the last 5 years.
Wow.
Climate scientists say warmer summers and drier winters, driven by our burning of fossil fuels, are accelerating the loss. 7 of the 10 worst years for glacier melt worldwide have happened since 2010, according to Climate Central. Or just ask Maury Pelto where the ice used to be.
Almost 50 feet above my head just a decade ago.
A decade ago, this glacier would have been 50 feet above your head?
Yeah.
That much has been lost.
Yes.
Glaciers are Earth's water towers, storing 70% of the fresh water supply. Vital for drinking, farming, and the health of many ecosystems. As they melt, sea levels are rising and coastal flooding is getting worse.
We're on Ptarmigan Ridge, and that's a ridge that extends most of the way from Mount Shuxton to Mount Baker that we're looking at.
That is spectacular scenery up there.
It is. You know, it's the highest mountain in the North Cascades.
On his annual treks to Mount Baker,
it feels like home.
Pelto has hiked nearly 6,000 miles and slept 800 nights in a tent.
This is our kitchen. We got our living rooms. We got our picture window. It's also one of those places that's really special to us as a family.
I brought 2 real crampons and a fancy yak track.
His son Ben, daughter Jill,
looking right at me.
And now his 9-month-old granddaughter Wren have joined him in the field.
2 feet.
2 feet.
Jill Pelto has spent 17 summers by her dad's side.
You get some measurements of the GPS along the blue ice.
But she doesn't just collect data. As the project's art director, she paints it.
So these measurements that you and your dad are taking out here, eventually some of those data points will go into your art.
Yes, exactly. Data is a story about something in the real world, and that story has meaning and emotion, and that's what I'm trying to bring into my art.
Her watercolor paintings are more than just beautiful landscapes. They reveal the science. Look closely and you see a bar graph of glacier decline in the North Cascades. One piece showing temperature rise and ice loss made the cover of Time magazine.
I think sometimes when people see data, there's kind of this instant reaction. And so it's not like the data is any different in my art, but something about that combination maybe gets people to kind of put down that wall of like, oh, I can't understand this, or, you know, this is not something I'm interested in.
The average person is not going to read a scientific report.
No.
But they will see a painting.
Yes.
And it does impact you in a different way.
Yes, definitely.
Her art has given her dad a new way to share the story he's been recording for the past 42 years.
There's nothing left of the glacier that was around that cave.
No.
What has this been like for the two of you to do this together? I imagine something like this has to change your relationship in some way.
We do it so seamlessly at this point. Sometimes I don't know where I start.
Feels like you're one team out here?
Yeah.
This bigger project that just means so much to us and has shaped our lives. So sharing that every year is, beyond special.
Tomorrow we go to the Rainbow Glacier.
And now Maury Pelto has just 8 summers left to fulfill his 50-year promise.
What do you think it's going to be like that first year you don't come out here?
I don't know. I can't remember what it was like to not come out here. This landscape has been shaped by ice, and so to understand the landscape and the ice, you really have to walk across it.
With Martha Teichner this morning, we're heading to Vermont to visit a landmark that's sacred ground for dog lovers everywhere.
Look, it's me.
Girlie, come on. If you want the treat, you have to sit. Sit.
Good girlie. And my dog, Girlie.
Hey, Girlie. That's a perfect name.
At Dog Mountain, having a good time on a beautiful fall day.
Look at his tail, Girlie.
If Dog Mountain were just a joyful place where dogs can run around or plop into a nice pond, it would still be pretty special. 150 dog-friendly acres in the scenic hills of northern Vermont. But there is much, much more to this story. It's actually a real tearjerker, sweet but sad. It began in 1994 when artist Stephen Huneck was injured falling down a flight of stairs. his injury causing him to develop a rare, often fatal lung condition.
I was dead for like 5 minutes, not breathing. And I was in a coma for over 2 months, and they really pretty much wrote me off.
Hunek and his wife Gwen, more than a decade ago, reliving the nightmare.
I said to myself, well, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to believe he's going to get better.
And he did.
I had to learn to walk again, and my dogs really took care of me. We would go for short walks in the woods, and they really stayed right with me.
His dogs became the subjects of the now famous woodcuts he was finally strong enough to make. His black lab, Sally, featuring in a series of best-selling children's books he wrote and illustrated. And then came his vision.
I remember the moment perfectly, where I had this idea popped into my mind, was build a chapel for dogs and for people.
He built it himself with this sign out front. There are carved dogs everywhere, even a dog angel on top of the steeple. There are dogs inside, some real, some not. The chapel opened in 2000 and is, more than anything, a room full of love. It's overwhelming.
It makes me happy, despite crying, to come back and see, and I feel like this is the place that they're buried, and that we come back and visit every year.
Every inch of every wall, floor to ceiling, has been covered with layers and layers of photographs and messages people have left, mourning the dogs they've lost, and the occasional cat, missing them. Heather Berkey drove 7.5 hours from outside Philadelphia to honor her Vizsla, Lexi, who had died a few weeks before from cancer. She brought some of Lexi's ashes to spread.
You run free. Love you. Love you, Lexi. To have her up here and free. I don't know.
Does it help?
There's no words.
How many places are there where society lets you grieve for a dog with all your heart the way you would a person? The way I have dogs in my life.
Do you believe that dogs go to heaven?
I would like to think yes.
Susan Oladol is an Episcopal priest.
I come here almost every day. I volunteer here.
Whose ministry includes comforting people at Dog Mountain.
Stephen Hunek has a great whimsical piece of art that's entitled "A Dog Has a Soul," and the dog is holding the shoelace with a shoe attached.
For all the humor in his work, Stephen Hunek struggled with depression. Here's the sad part of this story. Afraid he would have to close Dog Mountain and his gallery as a result of the Great Recession, in January 2010, Hunek died by suicide. 3 years later, his wife Gwen took her own life.
You have a place of joy, you have a place of love, but you also have the suicides of Stephen and Gwen. How do you square that with the wonder of the place?
I don't think they're to be squared. It's only a piece of a story, and the story of what they have left behind, this gift, is where most other people and myself are greatly impacted by.
The Hunek's dream lives on.
One of the things that the Huneks kind of realize is every little child that's ever fallen in love with the Sally books, when they get to come to Dog Mountain and actually meet the Sally, it's one of those things that they feel so special.
Amanda McDermott is creative director of Dog Mountain, and the person who cares for the current Sally.
So this is just like a postcard.
Oh, it's beautiful up here.
There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.
3 times a year, Dog Mountain has a party.
I'm looking for some dancers out in the crowd today.
Hundreds of dogs and their people show up. This one was in October. It was a free-to-all, free-for-all.
Whoops, I'm sorry. Girlie!
But in spite of all the playful chaos, I managed a quiet moment to slip into the chapel and find a place to leave my message, to tell the dogs I've lost that I love them still, and hope that wherever they are, they know.
The Bermuda Triangle is the infamous grave for any number of ships, some filled with a fortune in treasure now buried under the ocean floor. Lee Cowan steadied his sea legs to take us on a treasure hunt.
Carl Allen. He's a fisherman's fisherman. He's been coming to the Bahamas since he was 12, never missed a year, to this small island of Walker's Cay, where he likes to say the bonefish meet the billfish.
There we go. All right, a little blue runner actually there.
But as an adult, it wasn't really fish that brought him to this southwest corner of the Bermuda Triangle. It was the legend of a long-lost Spanish galleon.
I am a treasure hunter. I fully admit it.
The Nuestra Senora de las Maravillas, Our Lady of Wonders, was the kind of treasure ship that would have even made the pirate Blackbeard blush. On board, untold riches, plundered from the Spanish New World. But on one dark January night in 1656, disaster struck.
There was some miscommunication. The Maravillas turned, and the other ship turned, and it rammed the Maravillas midship. These are probably from salvage efforts of the Maravillas by the Spanish.
Michael Pateman is curator of the Bahamas Maritime Museum in Freeport.
And it went down how fast?
Less than an hour.
Ever since, her cursed cargo has brought wealthy treasure hunters flocking to these waters.
One of the large cannons was found.
In 1972, adventurer Robert Marks stunned the maritime world by pulling up artifacts that confirmed basically all the rumors about the Maravillas were true.
Some people claim it's one of the richest Spanish galleons to go down in the New World.
What treasure they found ended up mostly in auctions and private collections the world over. In 1999, the Bahamian government had had enough of treasure leaving its waters and put a stop to all of it. But marine archaeologists like Jim Sinclair insist the main pile of treasure has yet to be found.
Do you know how much is left out there?
If you're going to just use dollars to quantify, we're probably looking at well over another $100 million still sitting in the sand out here.
Really?
Which, for Carl Allen, was like the siren song of the mermaid.
If we don't do this, Mother Nature gets it, or pirates, and that doesn't do anybody any good.
He made his money in plastics, garbage bags mostly, and in 2016 he sold that multi-million-dollar company in Dallas and then announced to his wife that he was going fishing, this time for the Maravillas.
So I immediately bought her a yacht for her birthday. And let me tell you, want to get your wife into yachting? Name it after her.
That's Gigi, their super yacht. Their son Thomas says Mom is indeed pretty happy.
I think she likes it down here better than he does. You can't get her out of the water. It's amazing.
But the Gigi was just a start. Allen also bought this 183-foot research vessel and all the support boats to go with it. He hired crews, he hired divers, most of them local. And then he started searching for a home port. Instead of just fishing Walker's Cay, he decided to buy that too. The island's deep channel became the home to his own private navy.
Everybody thought I was wrong. So many people called me a fool, a laughingstock, and they're not laughing anymore.
Holy cow.
With his wife Gigi at his side, Alan Exploration has recovered more than 10,000 artifacts from the Maravillas.
When I found it, it was so encrusted, I could see just little bright specks.
Pendants, gold chains, silver bars, crucifixes, all seemingly no worse for the wear.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 20-carat cabochon cut emerald in the middle. There's 12 emeralds, we believe, one for each apostle.
They don't like to talk about what all of this is worth because they have no immediate plans to sell any of it. The Allens funded the construction of that maritime museum. They also run it themselves because they believe the Maravillas treasure belongs in the Bahamas. And, well, so do they.
Come on, Cash.
They're full-time Bahamian residents now. Walker's Cay, well, that was abandoned until 2018 when the Allens bought it and started fixing it up. When Hurricane Dorian ravaged the Bahamas, they offered their treasure hunting fleet to deliver relief supplies instead.
From what I'm seeing off the stern of Reaper,
It was that same year that the Bahamian government lifted the moratorium and granted the Allens exclusive rights to survey some 250 square miles of underwater desert.
Lee, we are just behind the hole, so there will be a swim upstream a little bit.
They were generous enough to host us at sea, but they also put me to work. To dive with the Allens is to disappear into an underwater scavenger hunt on a long, dead reef. It's tedious work. The conditions have to be perfect, and it's not without its dangers. But I can say firsthand their passion for the hunt is infectious.
Oh my gosh. You found those just on this dive?
It's the last dive. These are nice, big, chunky, what you call pieces of 8. And they'll clean up really nice. Right now, you can see the oxide on there.
But despite this massive effort, the ever-shifting sands of the Bahamas are still the boss.
You could have the right equipment, which I built. You could have the right people, which I have. And then Mother Nature says, no, not today. It's going to be her that'll run me out of this business.
Mother Nature?
Yeah.
But she's not beaten him yet. The pull of the sea is as strong now as it was when he was a boy. And it's anchored the Allens to the Bahamas in all the best of ways.
We love doing it, and we're helping these people at the same time. Where do you sign up for that?
What could be more picture perfect than a town in Vermont in the fall? How about 251 towns in Vermont in the fall? Connor Knighton tells us all about it by the numbers.
Vermont is known as the Green Mountain State. But come autumn, its mountain slopes are anything but green. As the leaves turn red and yellow and orange, picturesque towns turn into tourist hotspots.
Number 53, Waterbury, 53. Vermont. Woo! All right.
Loretta Cruz and Aaron Agnew aren't your typical leaf peepers. They've come to the town of Waterbury on their honeymoon. Sort of. When these Vermonters got married back in 2020, the pandemic forced them to cancel the trip they'd originally planned and stay closer to home instead.
We had to think about, well, what are we going to do for a honeymoon? So
go to every town in Vermont was the
Go
answer?
to every town in Vermont, that's right. And that extends the honeymoon. It's more than just one trip, too.
At this rate, the honeymoon period could last for well over a decade. They've been taking trips whenever they can get away, taking tips from the many members of the 251 Club.
Our first town was Brookfield. We wanted to see the floating bridge.
We'll be in Randolph.
The 251 Club is a group dedicated to exploring all of Vermont's towns and cities.
Every town that has a brewery we want to go to.
At their annual meeting, they gather together to talk about their journeys.
are we doing it together? Are there rules? Tim is very competitive, so he feels there should be rules.
It's got to be rules.
Lynn and I.
But there aren't any rules.
I've heard it said that we are a lawless organization, right? That kind of the only rule is that you have to love Vermont and want to explore it.
Mike Leonard is on the board of the 251 Club, which has maintained its name even though Vermont now technically has 252 towns. Like he said, the rules are loose. When he was 20, he hit the towns on a road trip with two of his pals.
And so I took it on as a challenge to really explore what it does mean to be a Vermonter.
Some of the towns, only had 5 or 6 people in them.
Esther Farnsworth didn't start her quest until she was 90.
There are a lot of places in Vermont that I haven't seen. So I just decided I'd go. And
Now 93, Farnsworth made it through the list in 2.5 years.
And I know the best places in Vermont to get ice cream. Ben & Jerry's isn't the only one, there are some others too.
The 251 Club was first proposed in a 1954 issue of Vermont Life magazine. Poet Arthur Peach wrote that Vermont, from the beginning, has been a state of towns, and in them only can the real Vermont be found and seen. In the town of Thetford, you can see the Vermontosaurus. In the town of Glover, you'll find the unattended Museum of Everyday Life, devoted to ordinary objects. Just turn the lights off when you leave. In a single afternoon, you can travel from Peru to Jamaica to Athens. But as every traveler knows, it's not always about the destination.
Driving around, talking, it's just been, it's definitely been really good, like father-daughter bonding time, especially, during the pandemic.
Whenever you complete your quest, there's no grand prize. The club doesn't make you prove anything. But
what happens is your heart opens up when you finish, because you get to see how much commitment is in each of those tiny little towns that are out-of-the-way places, but people love them.
That's Vermont's Congressman Peter Welch, a proud 251er. That deep sense of pride and sense of place is perhaps best summed up in the Vermont State Song,
These green hills and
which
silver
Esther Farnsworth
mountains
insisted I could not leave the state without hearing.
belong to me. They say home is where the heart is. These green mountains are my home.
I love that. That's a great set of it.